Okay, the next thing is you're going to hear from companies, from people, from other marketing people, from other people training services, that they're going to say you need to be able to establish trust. Okay, you need to establish trust. Be aware of the prospect's lack of trust and make sure to handle it. They don't know you yet when you're walking in. So how do you develop the trust? People always believe what they see, not what they hear, okay? So you want to be able to gain credibility and provide them things in printed material, documentation, third-party materials to support what you offer. When you're presenting to a physician, when you're presenting to anyone, when you're telling them about your services, don't just hand them the brochure, okay? Don't just give them your information, okay? And if you're talking, okay, what you can do is you can show them that you're writing something in front of them. Listen, doctor, this is what we're going to be offering you. I know it already says here in our brochures, in our printed information, but what I want to do is I want to be able to write down some of the most amazing parts that you're going to enjoy. And another thing, doctor, just to let you know, after this presentation, I'm going to make sure I also mail you some valuable information that's going to be able to give you more information about our company, about our services. Your trifold brochures that typically is used by a lot of home health agencies, a lot of home care companies, will have the information about your services already. What you can do is by writing it down again all over, or sending them another version of the brochure, sending them a fax, sending them an email, sending them a video that they can actually watch about your products, about your services. Those explainer videos, those explainer emails, those are what you're doing is you're adding more and solidifying more information for them to see that, you know what, I'm not lying to you, okay? And so that also builds trust because guess what you're doing? You're having more points of contact with them. Remember, we're telling you about and talking to you guys about following up with the clients, making sure that you follow up with them multiple times and not just one, not just twice, not just 3 times, but a minimum of 12 times. Because for you to be able to establish trust, you need to create a relationship. That's the only time people will trust you is if there is a relationship between you and the referral source, you and the patient's family, you and the patient or client themselves. So you want to establish trust. This also goes with the lie detection and nonverbal training that we provide you if you want that in extra. Okay, and if you don't want that, there's other videos, other books out there that you can read that can increase the chances of you communicating properly. Because a lot of people do not trust people who cannot communicate to them correctly, who cannot deliver how they actually understand things. There are people who are verbal, there are people who are nonverbal, there are people who are kinesthetic. They like to see things or they like to hear things, or they're a mixture of everything. And if you deliver to them a way that they do not understand or they cannot relate to, that is where the biggest problems is. When I market to a person, when I go ahead and do presentation, I try to find out and make sure I know their communication style. Because I need to communicate the way they understand things. So if I start seeing somebody, they start talking, you know what, I see what you're talking about. Or they say, you know what, I can definitely visualize that. The words that they are using, that means they're more of a visual type of person. If they say something, for example, you know what, I can hear what you're saying and I can definitely understand as you are talking in front of me, and I love to be able to hear more about your services, then I know they're more auditory. So see, this is very important on how we communicate and why communication training is so important. And that's why when we train marketers, we spend 2-3 hours, up to 4 or 5 hours of training them in regards to communication. Because communication is one of the most important things because this is how we speak to people. This is how we deliver the messages. This is how we are able to help them understand about our products, about our company, to build that trust, to be able to get them to see and relate with us because people like themselves. And if we can get them to relate to us and we relate to them, then we become that trustworthy person, that person that they're going to want to call to be able to refer their patients to. Some of the biggest takeaways is this. I want you to be able to give an example of when you didn't trust either the presentation or the salesman or the marketer or whoever was in front of you. And what happened was, because you did not relate to them, it did not really allow you to make a decision easily. So did you know that people make a decision if they like us within that first 15 seconds of seeing us for that very, very first time? So when you walk into a physician's office, before you even opened your mouth and started talking to them, they already made a decision that they don't like you. They're already thinking in their head, when is this person going to leave? They're already thinking, oh, this is a salesperson. Oh, this is a solicitation. Okay? So you want to be able to understand that you need to be aware of the prospect's lack of trust and handle it immediately. The first time a salesperson has ever walked in front of you before, the first thing you think of is, how can I get this person away from me as soon as possible? So one of the techniques we teach you guys is what we call the false time constraint. Okay? So you want to be able to go past that objection. How much time is this person going to be here? I need to get rid of them. I'm busy. Okay? So whenever we start a conversation with somebody we never even know, do a false time constraint. You know what? I appreciate that you're letting me talk to you. I can only be here for about 2.5 to 3 minutes with your time because I know your time is valuable. By me just saying that to them, they're going to say, oh, they're going to be gone in 2.5 to 3 minutes. But do you think I'm going to take 2.5 to 3 minutes? No, I'm going to try to get 20 and to try to be able to present to them right there and then. But by me saying a false time constraint of 2.5 to 3 minutes, I broke past that initial objections, that initial barrier that they've created of distrust to a person. And I've showed them that I value their time by me saying that I only want to take a few minutes of your time. It also goes if, let's say, you already have a meeting with somebody, you already set up an appointment with them, and you went ahead and met up with them. You want to ask them, listen, I want to be able to know how much time do I have to be able to get your attention, to be able to do this presentation, because I value your time and I want to make sure that you're able to understand fully what I'm trying to explain, the benefits that our services would be for your patients right now, doctor. So how much time do you have? If they say 5 minutes, great, doctor. I'm glad that you have 5 minutes. I'm going to be able to take care of that 5 minutes for you and start talking. Now, if a doctor says 5 minutes and your answer is, doctor, I don't have time. 5 minutes is not enough for me to do a presentation. You already started wasting your time. Acknowledge, I agree you have 5 times, doctor. Remember, I'm talking to you guys about telling you guys about agreeing. Always, always agree. When you disagree, you create a barrier of trust right there. You want to be able to make sure they can trust you ultimately right away. So once again, when you're doing presentation, always, always make sure that you do and understand about time, create that false time constraint, get rid of that objection in your head right away so you can build the trust automatically.